As we move from the Thanksgiving holiday and our November theme of healing, I've been thinking about gratitude. It's a hot topic. For me, it's something like exercise. It's something I know I should do, but I don't always do it. And like when I exercise, when I do practice gratitude, I do feel better. In researching gratitude, it seemed to me that if someone could market the benefits of gratitude in a pill form, what a demand there would be for it. Here are some of the many benefits that have been determined from various gratitude studies. Much of my information today comes from the Greater Good Science Center of UC Berkeley. We benefit from gratitude in two areas: personal benefits and social benefits. Personal benefits include better physical health. People who practice gratitude tend to adopt healthier habits, sleep better, and they may even show signs of decreased inflammation, among other physical benefits. Personal benefits also include better psychological health. People who practice gratitude tend to be happier, in a more positive mood. They tend to be more satisfied with their lives, feel better about themselves, feel less materialistic, and are more generous and helpful, experience less depression, and show more resilience during challenging times. Certainly 2020 has been a challenging year. Gratitude has been found to broaden and build positive emotions and coping strategies. People who practice gratitude are more apt to seek help when needed, see situations through a more positive lens, engage in problem solving, and tend to convert challenges to opportunities of growth. According to Robert Emmons of UC Davis, grateful people don't ignore or deny negative aspects of life, but choose to celebrate what's possible as well. It influences our happiness and our ability to reframe negative events into positive events. Despite the tragedy and stress of this pandemic, we can try to see positive effects, such as more time with family, a time to slow down and reevaluate our lives, increased respect for all the essential workers who put their lives on the line, exploring new hobbies, reconnecting with others. When the pandemic hit North Dakota very badly a couple weeks ago, I contacted my old college roommate who is a veterinarian there. I invite you now to think about one positive outcome from the pandemic that you have experienced. Did anyone come up with, I can wear slippers to Sunday services now? For children, practicing gratitude has helped them become more kind, more helpful, more socially integrated, and less anxious. In one study, gratitude was referred to as social glue. Gratitude influences a society to become more kind, helpful, and it strengthens and maintains relationships. Gratitude in the workplace results in people performing more effectively, feeling more satisfied, and having better working relationships. Have you had the experience of working in environments where gratitude was not often expressed? How about where gratitude was expressed? Did it feel like a world of difference? So if gratitude is so beneficial, what can stand as barriers to gratitude? I think one of the biggest barriers is living in a capitalistic society, where marketing can make us feel like our life and what we have is not enough. It is easy to live in a mindset of scarcity. We don't have as many things as others: the well-paying job, the beautiful home, the fancy car. We are not as successful as others. We are not pretty enough, not smart enough, not successful enough, not extraordinary enough. Envy and materialism also feed into that scarcity feeling. Cynicism is also a barrier, as well as narcissism, where goodness in life happens because we deserve it, not because we are lucky. An additional barrier is that gratitude is sometimes viewed as a weakness because gratitude can be seen as a form of indebtedness or as a feeling of dependence on others. This view, unfortunately, tends to be expressed more by men than women. So now that we have seen all the benefits of gratitude and investigated some barriers, what do I mean by gratitude? According to Dr. Emmons, there are two key components of gratitude. The first is an affirmation of goodness in the world, as well as gifts or benefits we've received. The second component is a recognition of the sources of goodness outside ourselves that give us gifts, big and small, to help us achieve goodness in our lives. These sources can include a higher power, other people, an animal, the weather, nature, even something like having avoided a mistake. Have any of you almost put your foot in your mouth and were thankful that you managed to stop yourself? These sources are countless. The word gratitude can mean so many things. It can mean an emotion, which is defined as a temporary feeling of gratitude after receiving a gift or favor. It can be a mood, which is the overall daily fluctuations in overall gratitude. It can also be considered to be an affective trait, which is the tendency to have a grateful disposition. Interestingly, gratitude appears to be a development of evolution. Scientists have observed what they call reciprocal altruism in various species, even fish, birds, and fruit bats. Species perform activities to help others. For example, chimps have been observed to share food with a chimp that helped groom it earlier in the day or even in the past. One theory is that gratitude may have evolved to develop the drive for reciprocal altruism, which helps species develop allies or friends, which in turn helps the species survive. A study of toddlers found that when one child experienced a kind deed from another child, when the giver of the deed left the room and a new child entered the room, the recipient of the kind deed was more apt to do a kind deed for the new child, a version of the pay it forward phenomenon. Of course, neuroscience wants in on the action too. A 2015 University of Indiana study had their subjects undergo an MRI while performing a pay it forward activity. The group that had participated in a 3-month gratitude writing activity showed behavioral increases in gratitude and significantly greater neural modulation by gratitude in the medial prefrontal cortex than the control group. So it appears that gratitude has become hardwired in our brains through evolution. But getting back on a personal level, I first became interested in the topic of gratitude after reading The Book of Joy, Lasting Happiness in a Changing World by the Dalai Lama, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, and Douglas Abrams. One of the pillars of joy described in the book is gratitude. The gratitude they focused on was gratitude as an affective trait, that tendency to have a grateful disposition, which both the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu seem to have in abundance. In the book, they describe gratitude as an elevation and ennobling of enjoyment, a recognition of all that holds us in the web of life. When I read that line, I immediately made the connection of that statement to our Unitarian Universalist principle of respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. To them, acceptance means to not fight reality, but gratitude means to embrace reality. I don't know about you, but I personally prefer the vision of embracing rather than not fighting. They clearly see gratitude as a way to connect us all. When I was in grade school, I remember people joking about how parents used to say to their kids that they should eat all the food on their plate because of the poor, starving children in fill in the blank country. Gratitude should not be a method to help us feel superior to others that don't have as much. That is not the kind of connection Reverend Tutu and the Dalai Lama refer to. Their sense of gratitude results in an ability to become more empathetic and to be able to take the perspective of others. That is what they mean by connecting to others. When we feel grateful, we are more willing to share by not acting from a place of scarcity. When I feel gratitude for my food, I can connect it with the people who grew it, harvested it, shipped it, stocked it, sold it. Especially during the pandemic, I have come to appreciate the entire supply chain. Feeling gratitude can spur us not to feel pity to those less fortunate, but to engage in social justice, as Reverend Greg mentioned. Gratitude also inspires us to reciprocity and paying it forward, both which deepen our connections and relationships to others. So much of the research and books I read connected practicing gratitude with being joyful. Okay, so we all agree that gratitude is something good to practice, but how can we go about doing that? It is easy to have the attitude of something, but not the practice, as author Brene Brown states in her book, The Gifts of Imperfection. For me, I have the attitude that practicing the piano is good for me and I should do it, but until I actually sit down to my piano, my attitude is quite limited in benefiting me. Gratitude practice, like any kind of practice, means actually doing stuff. There are many ways to practice gratitude. The important thing, of course, is to figure out practices that speak to you and to practice it with the frequency that matches you. If your gratitude practice feels like a chore, try something different or change the frequency with which you do the activity. Gratitude practices include say 3 good things that happened that day. Write 3 things that went well this week and the cause of those good things. Write a gratitude letter to someone and mail it. Write a gratitude essay about someone if you don't want to send a letter. Keep a gratitude journal. Try for at least once a week. Engage in gratitude meditation or prayer. Take a savoring walk. Be sure to go on different routes and places. Stop during the day to say, I am grateful for blank. When engaging in gratitude practices, try to be as specific as possible. Not, I am grateful for the nice weather, but I am grateful for that little butterfly that perched on the warm rock near where I was standing. Sometimes we focus gratitude on grand experiences, marriage, birth of a child, graduation, etc. But it is the ordinary moments that we should pay attention to help us foster gratitude. Brene Brown states that in her interviews with people who experienced great loss, such as violence, loss of a child, genocide, and trauma, their most precious memories were collected from ordinary moments. These moments helped them experience joy. We are going to try one gratitude practice right now. I learned that this practice stimulates the release of neuropeptides that fight off stress. It releases serotonin, dopamine, and endorphins. It also stimulates the reward center of others, so this act is contagious. You may have guessed it already, but this practice is to smile. I know some of you have your cameras off, but smile, please, everyone, smile. You may feel self-conscious at first, but please try. Now, I know this is an artificial application of the practice, but you only have to smile for about 20 seconds to get all the benefits I stated. And we can all agree that it is 20 seconds of our life well spent. Starting any practice can be difficult at first. Practicing gratitude during difficult times is also very challenging. As Brene Brown stated, you can't live in gratitude and joy constantly, just like we can't smile constantly. But one way to help us through difficult times is to find those moments of gratitude in our life. She challenges us to move from a mindset of scarcity. When she stated that for many people, the first thought they have in the morning is, I did not get enough sleep. That is totally me. To quote Brazilian author Paulo Coelho, a miracle happened, another day of life. I now try to wake up to those words. A miracle happened, another day of life. Brene Brown challenges us to move from a mindset of scarcity, not to a mindset of abundance, but of sufficiency. She states that sufficiency is not a quantity, but the experience of knowing that we are enough. It is a way of choosing our circumstances. She also suggests that even when we are feeling what we would call negative emotions, we can practice saying, I'm feeling blank. That's okay. I'm so grateful for blank. I think all my reading has encouraged me to practice gratitude so that it is not a fleeting emotion, but something that is deep inside me, that allows me to feel more connection to others and invites more joy into my life. As we begin this holiday season, Hanukkah starts this Thursday, perhaps we can use that time that we save by not going to a shopping mall to spend some time in stillness and practice gratitude. Naturally, the last thing I would like to do is show gratitude to all of you. Thank you to everyone who was involved in making this Sunday service happen. And most of all, thank all of you very much for spending part of your day with me.